4 years. You work towards a goal, finally achieve it, and then some arrogant person with a clipboard tries to claim it's theirs. That's exactly how this situation began. Just 3 weeks after, I moved into my perfect house, a home with a front porch, tall trees, and a quiet neighborhood off the main road. 3 black SUVs pulled into my driveway as if it were a crime scene. Their doors opened in perfect unison, and 6 men in tactical gear emerged. Right behind them stood the woman I had been arguing with 4 weeks, Brenda Peterson. She was the self-proclaimed president of a homeowners association that, as far as I could tell, didn't even legally exist. "You're in violation of neighborhood regulations," the tallest man declared. "We have a warrant for your removal." Brenda folded her arms, smirking as if she'd just won a chess match. What she didn't know, what none of them knew, was that I wasn't just a stubborn homeowner. I was the local police chief, and I had been watching this play out long enough. To understand how we got to that point, you need to know the backstory. I bought this house after years of working late shifts, living out of suitcases, and moving from one precinct to another. I finally decided I wanted to settle down somewhere peaceful. I didn't want to deal with HOA rules, nosy neighbors, or people on power trips. So, I made absolutely certain there was no active HOA on the property when I signed the papers. The very first day I moved in, before I had even unpacked my kitchen, there she was, Brenda, standing across the street like a movie villain in a pantsuit. Her clipboard was clutched like a weapon. There was no hello or welcome, just a long, judging stare. The next morning, a red notice was taped to my front door. It listed 3 violations: a non-compliant mailbox, unapproved landscaping, and failure to register with the HOA. I was stunned. I hadn't even had coffee yet, and more importantly, there was no HOA. I crumpled the notice and threw it away, thinking that would be the end of it. It wasn't. An hour later, Brenda marched up my driveway, her heels clicking, with a smile as fake as plastic. "Afternoon," she said, her voice syrupy sweet. "I assume you got the notice." "Yeah," I replied, wiping sweat from my forehead. I threw it away. Her face twitched. "That wasn't a suggestion." I chuckled. "Funny, I don't recall joining any HOA." She snapped her clipboard shut. "Your street was annexed into ours last year, not without my signature." It wasn't. Brenda's tone hardened. "You will comply, Mr. Anderson, or we'll escalate." "To whom?" I asked. "The clipboard police." She stormed off. And that's when things turned sour. Over the next few days, I found more red notices taped to my door, my fence, and my garbage cans. A $500 fine appeared for non-compliance. I tossed that too. Then my mailbox was smashed, my car was keyed, and my power flickered out twice in one night. I checked my security cameras and caught Brenda, flashlight in hand, snooping around at 2 a.m., taking pictures as if she were building a criminal case. I realized this wasn't just petty behavior. It was a full-scale operation. So, I did what I do best. I investigated. I went to the county clerk's office and dug into the property records. As I suspected, Brenda's HOA didn't legally exist. There was no registration, no tax id, and no board recognized by the city. But she had been acting like one, sending out fake fines, collecting dues, and even threatening foreclosure. It turned out many people in the neighborhood had been paying her just to get her to leave them alone, afraid of being targeted. Some had even sold their homes to escape her. And those compliance officers she sent around, they weren't city officials or security contractors, just goons in vests with knockoff badges. I went straight to her door the next day, knocking harder than necessary. She opened it with a smug smile, as if she had been expecting me. "I was wondering when you'd show up," she said. I held up the documents. "This fake HOA ends today." She glanced at the papers, unimpressed. "You can try, but you're outnumbered." I then noticed 4 men in black shirts standing behind her, the same ones who had been snooping around my property. They looked professional, but none of them seemed to notice my badge peeking out from under my shirt. That night, I upgraded my security system with more cameras and motion lights. Sure enough, at 2:14 a.m., they returned. 2 men in dark clothing stood in my driveway, whispering and pointing at my house. I stepped outside, my weapon holstered but visible. "You boys looking for something?" They froze. One muttered, "Routine compliance check." At 2 in the morning, I raised an eyebrow. "Get off my property." They left without a word, but I knew what was coming next. What I didn't expect was the elaborate performance. A few days later, just as the sun was setting, I heard engines. 3 black SUVs rolled up, and 6 men in tactical gear stepped out, as if they were about to handle a hostage situation. Brenda appeared behind them, arms folded, directing them like a damn SWAT team. One of the men, tall with a square jaw and mirrored sunglasses, approached with a folder. "You're in violation of neighborhood code," he announced. "We have a warrant for your removal." I tilted my head. "You have a warrant for what, exactly?" He opened the folder, filled with fake forms and HO letterheads. "Refusal to comply with lawful HO enforcement." Brenda stepped forward. "We gave you every chance, Mr. Anderson. You chose this path." I stayed calm, very calm. I looked at their gear. Their uniforms were inconsistent, badges were clipped on incorrectly, and their stance was too rehearsed, like guys who had watched a few cop shows and thought they could wing it. I slowly reached into my pocket and pulled out my badge. "I'm Chief Anderson, local PD." Silence. A long, drawn-out silence. One guy stumbled backward, another cursed under his breath, and Brenda's face drained of color. Is this a joke?" she stammered. "No," I said, stepping forward. "But impersonating an officer is a felony. SO is unlawful detainment. So is attempted home invasion. And so is fraud." From down the block, real sirens started. SQUAD cars rolled in fast, and my officers pulled out. We had been ready. The fake officers dropped their gear and put their hands up. One tried to run, which was a bad idea. My lieutenant tackled him so hard, he bounced off the pavement. Brenda just stood there, frozen, clutching that damn clipboard, as if it could still protect her. We cuffed every last one of them. My lieutenant looked around and muttered, "Hell of an HO, Chief." I turned to Brenda. "Anything you want to say?" She tried. "This is a mistake. I didn't do anything wrong." I held up the phony warrant. "So these guys just showed up on their own with this?" She looked away. "I was just trying to keep order." When we searched her house, we found bank records, property liens, and forged documents not just from our neighborhood, but from others. She had been running this scam for years under different names and in different areas, sometimes buying homes through shell companies after pressuring owners to sell, and other times collecting dues and disappearing. Tucked in the back of one folder was a signature not hers, but a city official's, that explained how she got access to homeowner data, why her paperwork looked legitimate, and why complaints disappeared. Brenda wasn't at the top of the scheme, she was just a middleman. We built a case, and within a week, we had search warrants, raided for more properties, seized over $2.7 million in assets, and arrested board members, the fake officers, and the city official behind it all. It was a massive real estate fraud ring hiding behind fake HOAs. Brenda quickly flipped, testifying for a reduced sentence and claiming she was just following orders, just trying to keep order. But when you terrorize a neighborhood, forge documents, impersonate police, and try to arrest the actual police chief, well, you're not going to get off lightly. By the end of the month, the entire operation had collapsed. And just like that, the people who had been bullied for years were finally free. About a month later, I was sipping coffee on my porch when a letter arrived, hand-delivered in a fancy envelope. I opened it. It was from the Royal Homeowners Association of Springview County. And what it said, well, that's a story for another day. Before I go, let me ask you, what would you have done in my place if your neighbor tried to turn a fake HO into a private army? If they tried to steal your property with phony legal threats? Drop your thoughts in the comments. I want to hear what you think about HO abuse, fake authority, and what justice should really look like in a neighborhood like this.